Yo, yo, yo. What's good, everyone? It's your boy JTL. Got my boy HD on here. We back with
What up? What
another
up? What up?
for
What up?
y'all. Another red pill respectfully episode. And in this one, oh man, we're gonna be talking about non-traditional modern women not wanting to be traditional, but still want a man to be traditional. It's so sad, man. It's so sad. But make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. You know what I'm saying? Just like Poor Man's Podcast, shout out to them. We trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, God willing, by the end of this year. All right. So make sure y'all help a brother out, help a couple brothers out. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna bring up a couple people. First one, I'm gonna talk about Sweetie. All right.
Oh
She
no.
she exacerbates the idea
Look
of
at
what
them
we're
big
talking about.
words. He done graduated from college.
All right,
Big
calm down, don't
words.
get too hype. You gonna go to all cussing too much and all that. You know how you do. You get excited. All right, so she broke up with Quavo, like we talked about on the last show, and she wants she wants a 9-figure dude, but not looking at the fact that she wasn't able to work out a situation with the guy that had the 8 figures, and not realizing, okay, when you're looking for somebody that rich and famous and been more famous, because the only people that's gonna have $100 million in this day and age is somebody that's been in the game longer than her. So from what we've seen for her net worth, don't mean that's what she has liquid, but her net worth is from $3 to $6 million. Not bad, not bad at all. But she still wants somebody. She wants to still practice hypergamy, so she still wants somebody who has more money than she has. Okay. And it's like, all right, that's cool, but what do you really bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? Can you cook? Can you clean? Can you be a housewife? You know what I'm saying? If you still want a man to play his role, do you play your role? And as I keep seeing a lot of these shows, a lot of women keep talking about they want a loyal man, they want somebody who's not a cheater. But then when you ask what do they bring to the table, they say that cliche, I am the table. But a lot of women can't cook. A lot of women don't know how to run households. A lot of women, like what's G? You remember what's the lady name that Jeezy just married? The one that was off the real.
Oh yes, yes, the Asian lady. I hope me saying Asian lady is not offending anyone. Um, Let me pull her name up real quick because I wasn't Jeannie Mae.
Jenny Mae, right? Shout out to her. She talked about it. She's her own boss.
Well,
Like
I don't know if they're married yet. I think they're disengaged.
I think I seen something about they got married already. They was engaged and then they got married, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
But in,
they still fianced.
okay, so but people was mad at her for saying she wants when she gets off work, when she's not running her own business or she's not at work on the real, when she gets off, she want to sit back, relax, and let her man lead. And a lot of women, modern women, was mad at that, but she never said nothing about she's gonna quit her job. She never said anything about not wanting to run her own business. But inside her home, she wants to be traditional, and a lot of women was mad at that. And of course, at first they was mad because Jeezy married an Asian woman versus a black woman. First off, but that aside, a lot of women were mad because she said she wanted to be traditional, and it's like, why do they keep using the S word? Talking about acting like once you submit to a man, you're gonna be in bondage. But if that's the case, then why do you want a man that makes more money than you? That's what doesn't make sense. If that's the case, and roles don't mean nothing, then why don't you get with a guy that makes less money so you can run him and you can wear the pants then and make him cook and clean? Why not do that then? What
And
sense does it?
can I say something
Yeah, go ahead.
when you say about the money, right? So all these different conversations about The man needs to make a certain amount, or the man needs to make more than the woman, or whatever. But then it's about we want to not have the same roles in the household as back in the day. We want to get more modern. The roles need to change. When it comes to the money situation, why, like you keep saying, why does it matter? If the man is making enough money to hold his own, to pay all his bills, and he still can dress nice, get his hair cut, go out to dinner, have drinks with his homeboys, do all these things. I really don't see why it would matter if we're changing the roles. Because if we're changing the roles, that would mean that the old traditional way where the man pays for everything and the woman doesn't has to go out the window. So a woman can't say she wants to change the old traditional roles, but still want it to be where the man pays for everything, because then you're still living in the old way. So which one do you want? Do you want to have new roles, or do you still want so it's the woman wants new roles, however, they still want the man to pay for everything, which makes zero sense because you're not changing the roles. You're trying to keep that one thing, but then you want everything else to change. The woman wants to have more say so. She wants to call the shots. Well, I mean, if the man is paying for everything, if he's shelling out all his money and you ain't shelling out nothing, why is it that you still get to call the shots? I never even understood that in the old ways, where you would see your uncle or you would see your grandfather or whoever, the man who paid for everything, and sometimes the woman wouldn't even work. She would just be a stay-at-home mom, but she still gets to call all the shots. So it's like, damn, this man out here busting his ass 10 hours a day and he still don't run shit. But now, in this new way where the woman wants the roles to be different, she still wants him to pay for everything and she still wants to run him. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's the biggest issue as well. Is it's very hypocritical. It's contradiction and hypocrite like at the same time. And women, I'm sorry, ladies, but what gets on our nerves as men is you got a lot of women that have a problem with the 50-50 thing, even though we're saying we're going to be more moderate. That's more moderate. All right. You pay 50, I pay 50. You got my back, I got your back. That's moderate. So to still want the guy to make the most money, spend the most money, it's not moderate. That's still the same tradition. But you don't want to clean. You don't want to cook. You want to holler, we can get a maid, we can get a butler. I ain't your slave. What? Hold on. But guess what? I ain't your trick either. So you're not gonna make me be a trick for a treat. And it is a lot of women out here that are willing to play those roles if a man is taking care of everything. But the problem is you got too many women who are thinking they smart, but you're really trying to be slick. Like Sweetie, case in point, she's making her own money. What do you need a 10-figure dude for, a 9-figure, 8-figure dude for, if you're trying to get your own bag?
You know why? Because she wants to spend all his money while saving hers. And that's the shit that
Because
pisses
she,
me off the most. When a woman is out here working, right? Let's say a woman has a nice job. Let's say she makes 50,000 a year, right? But she wants a man to make a certain amount. So let's say she makes 50,000 and the man makes 75, right?
uh-huh.
He's spending all his money, paying all the bills, doing this and that, and she's making 50,000 and she's pocketing all her money. That's the shit that pissed me off. Why is it fair that this man is spending everything that he's making, yet you making good money yourself too, but you pocketing everything? No, it don't work
Right.
like that.
And that's our fault. That were our past couple of generations of men's fault. Because men use that as bargaining chips for with women. And also to make themselves feel it's an ego trip and it's a pride thing. That's all it was. Because you think about it, you know, how does having domination over somebody make you actually feel like a good person or man? Like, why would I? Okay, I'm paying the cost to be the boss. We heard that all the time growing up. That's what they say. But it's like, Women nowadays don't want to do that though. They want to be able to act like a child. They want an allowance. And like I heard this one lady, everybody keep doing videos on her. I couldn't have us do it because we'll be cussing too much. But this white lady from Sweden or wherever she was from was saying men ought to be ashamed of themselves when they talking about they want a woman to be self sufficient. They don't want her to depend on him. So why don't you give her a weekly allowance so she can be self sufficient? And it's like she's not self sufficient if I have to give her money. That's not self sufficiency. So you have a lot of women and they'll get mad if you call them a gold digger for that. But it's like, what else are you? But you don't want to be able to have sex with him when he wants, like you were his sex slave. You don't want him to make you cook and clean like you're his maid or cook, but you want him to pay you like one. You want to be able to act like a child. So it doesn't make any sense that women think they're modern, but really you're just trying to be slick. Oh, I'm not going, he ain't gonna have me act like no slave, but you still want, and that's why Kevin Samuel's show is so perfect because he's coming at it from an angle. All right, you want a high value man, this is gonna be the rules and stipulations of what high value men want, right? And women get mad at him for it. But at the same time, instead of being smart and peeping game, and being able to get what you want is like, no, the man is going to bend to my will. Men are not going to do that. Real men are not going to do that. And that's why I said, I'm not going to be your trick. Now, a trick will do that. A sugar daddy will do that. But guess what that means? You're most likely going to have to get you a dude that's like 50, 60 something years old that came up in those times where he'll let you do whatever you want and he paying to get it. And he don't mind just paying and he don't get some whenever he wants some. You don't cook for him because you're making him take you out. So, and H, you know this. All right. So here in the city where we from, I used to go to this VFW, right? So I'll be at
The
the
VFW.
so I'll be at the VFW, where the OGs at, and I see women our age come in there. And I'm like, oh, snap, it do, because when I first started going there, it wasn't because I was trying to see chicks my age, it was because I like being around the OGs, soaking up game, being able to just learn about life. You might make some connections with some people that got their own business and stuff like that. You never know. So I'm in there, then I start seeing women our age, and I'm like, okay. So, I hollered at a couple of chicks here and there, but then mostly you start seeing a lot of young, nice looking sisters that was only going for the older dudes. So I would sit back and peek and let me see what's going on. They do like 60 some years old, she 30. So they tricking. They like, well, I'm gonna get me because you ain't gonna have to have sex with him all the time, and he'll pay your bills and all that. And if you have sex with him, maybe like once or twice a year or something or a
He
month.
ain't even gonna get hard no more.
I don't know, boy. They got them Viagra pills unless you get the old one, so they can't use it because they risk a heart attack. God forbid.
The Viagra be making some of them old men get headaches and migraines
Take
and
your ass
never
out of
slow
here.
down.
Hmm. So I'm peeping game, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm a little salty because she kind of bad. I want to have a little fun with her, but I can't be mad at her because that's how the game goes. She trying to get a tricking on. So, but at least she understands the game. She's willing to talk to. I seen chicks in the G willing to talk to dudes in their 50s and 60s. I didn't. I went there a few times with my pops, and women was trying to come on to him. So I know what it is. He old school. He'll toss a couple of dollars. He old school. But that's what the young girls got to realize because a woman like Sweetie, she's not gonna want a dude Dr. Dre age. She's gonna want a dude still around her age, and that's what a lot of younger women got to realize. You can't expect to get a dude with a whole bunch of money your age in their 20s. That situation with Quavo is very rare. And that's why you would have no choice but to deal with the entertainment field. Because when it comes to business, like we talked about on last show, you're not going to find a bunch of guys that's in their age range in a mid late 20s that owns a successful business making 8 figures. That's even rare. That's more rare than sports and entertainment. To find a young dude, like we got a lot of young brothers now, God bless them, that are really building up. And I seen case in point, it's this one young brother, he was doing stocks and investments. And he's like 21, 22 years old, he's a millionaire. That's rare. That's very rare. He came from the hood too at that. That's super rare, especially if you come from the hood. Now let's talk about the numbers again. When it comes to black men in general, right? Because a lot of sisters would rather stay with black men. At least I'll give you credit for that. Not much, but at least a little bit. So
Mm.
if you want that, and like say for the women that want the man that make 100K a year, when it comes to black men, that's on like 8% black men that make it. Now, that's 8% of black men out of all men. That's if we take into account that they're not married or engaged, or we take into account that they're not gay, or we take into account if they're
Ooh.
even in the, or if they're even in this country at that. So it's so many variables when it comes to that women don't think about. So I hear women talk about that, but a lot of women think it's cute. Like a lot of women that think like that, let's keep it G. A lot of women that talk like that are broke. Now I know women might hear this and get mad, but let's keep it real. If you out there trying to get your own money, you're not worried about what somebody else getting or got, especially if you got children. Now a lot of modern, so-called modern sugar babies, think because they got kids, they need a man with money instead of getting themselves together. It's your responsibility to take care of your children, not them or the children's father or fathers. But a lot of women will say they want somebody that's a baller. Man, listen, this is what we got to realize. Now, I respect what Kevin Samuel said, but the reality is not all women or sisters, especially sisters from the hood, around the way girls, really talking about a guy that make 100K. If she's making 18 to $25,000 a year, a dude balling to her is $45,000 a year or $50,000 a year. So that's balling to her. So I'm not gonna make it seem like all sisters want somebody making $100,000. That would be great, but not all of them gonna get it. Why you think a lot of women will mess with the dope boys? And they'll be thinking he balling because he can have a grand 500 to $1,000 on him at any given time. But like 50 Cent said, and get rich or die trying. When you calculate all the hours you spend on the block, running from the police, being afraid of the police, you really making minimum wage. So if you think a dude is balling because he get $1,000 a week in the streets, he might as well go get a $45,000 a year job. It's the same thing with less risk, less amount of the risk. So when we see our women that make these complaints, want to make these strides and all that thing of nature, it's cool. You can be idealistic. We can't judge you on that. That's your That's your business. We can give our opinion, but that's your business. But the sad thing is, and me and my partner was talking pre-show about the way we want to raise our sons. And our thing is, what's so sad? It used to be women have to be given this game by their fathers and mothers to be careful about the type of man you deal with. Now we got to tell our sons to be careful about the type of women you deal with, the ones that'll try to get over on you and try to use you for your money, or the ones that'll break your heart. So now we got to tell them that, and then we got to tell them to make sure they take their time with trying to fall in love and get married to somebody,
Yeah.
because you may not be ready. Now we are realistic on that. Like, hey, if you talking about starting a family and all that, you got to be able to have stability, or at least know how to work on towards God blessing you to get it, go on that path to get it and have a stability. Because as real men, we're not gonna sit here and act like it has to be 50-50 with men and women. We're not saying that. Even though respectfully, if you want to be modern, you would be that way. You would be 50-50 if you are truly modern. But on the man's end, we're gonna tell our sons, about being self-sufficient. It's the same way we gotta teach our daughters that self-sufficiency. It's not about, I mean, and it's cool if you dreaming big. It's cool. That's fine. But now let's get into the second part now. From there, another sad thing women do when they say that they want a man that make all this money. Let's be realistic, ladies. What do you need all this money for? I'm hearing conversations where a woman wants her the man to be making 100K a year. Like 70, 60, $70,000 a year is so bad. You still can go to Dubai. That's a balling ass trip. You still can get a nice crib. As my man HD, he's been looking at this stuff for years. You know, he's just been paying attention to the market for years since our early 20s. Now, go ahead, H. Break down the type of houses and states and cities that you can live in and get, even if you're
Yeah, if
not making
you
millions of dollars. Break that down for them.
any if it all depends on, what state you live in, but there are a lot of states, including some of the states that I've looked at before, like Texas, for example. I talk about that all the time, but you can get a home and land for, we can even go as low as 150,000, and people may say, "Oh, you're crazy." No, it's not. If you look at some of the markets, like in San Antonio, for example, you can get a 4 or 5 bedroom house, upstairs, downstairs, in a gated community, if that's the type of thing you like, with a big backyard, 2 car garage, and you're paying under 200,000 a year. And there are some in different parts of Texas where, even if you kind of wanted to go on a bigger scale, get up to the 2 or 300,000 dollar house, you're looking at some shit that's, excuse me, something that's like a mansion. So
Right.
you don't have to, excuse me, you don't have to be a millionaire to live a certain way, if you're not out here trying to be super flashy, having 8 gold necklaces around your neck, and all that. You don't have to. And like my partner just said, if you're making 60, 70,000 a year, you still can go on trips to Dubai. You still can go to Hawaii while paying your bills and not being behind, because a lot of people will trick you into thinking that they're doing something because they may be on Instagram flashing a certain type of purse, or they may be on Instagram flashing a certain type of jewelry, but you don't know if they're behind 2 months on their light bill. You don't know if their mortgage is due. You don't know if they're getting their car repossessed. You don't know all that stuff. They just give you what they want you to see. So if you have two people that are working together, the man and the woman, not where it's just the man gives, and the woman saves, and does nothing, you can live that life that you want to live. And I'm gonna say one more thing. I know you kind of changed the subject a little bit, but going back to the issue of the 50-50 thing, when you mention, it doesn't necessarily have to be 50-50. It could be 60-40 to man, or 70-30 to man. The whole point is that the woman is contributing something. And there's nothing wrong with a woman, if you want to say these modern women, there's nothing wrong with a woman showing a man that she cares or appreciates about him. It's always said, oh, the man supposed to pay for the woman to get her hair done. The man supposed to pay for the woman to get uh her fingernails and her toes done. That's fine. If that's what he chooses to do, more power to you. But what's wrong with the woman doing that? What's wrong with the woman paying for the man's haircut? What's wrong with the woman saying, you know what, you and your homies about to, go out to eat and watch the game at the sports bar, the NCAA tournament. Here you go. Here you go, 40, $50. Go have dinner with me and get you a few beers. What's wrong with a woman doing that? Or what's wrong with a woman not waiting to the man's birthday or to a holiday, just on a random Tuesday in June, be like, you know what? I was out, shopping for some things, and I picked you up an outfit. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with a woman doing that on a random day in June or July, just coming home one day with the outfit and a pair of kicks for her man, just showing him, hey, I appreciate you. You good to me. You treat me good. You do things for our kids. You keep a roof over our head. Here you go. I know you have been wanting these kicks. Here go an outfit to go with it. Or you know what? I know that you've been talking about it. I got you some tickets for the game coming up this weekend. Go watch. You don't have to watch the game on TV. You can go to the game in person. I bought you some tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs football game. What's wrong with a woman doing that? Showing the man appreciation, showing him that he matters, showing him that she appreciates all the hard work and dedication he puts in every day of the week. Dealing with work and coming home, dealing with her and the kids. That's the part that I wanted to go back to, because a lot of women need to realize that they need to show their appreciation too.
Yeah. but on that note, like this is my thing. When women want a guy to make all that money, back to what I was saying. Uh, like you've been able to go places, nice areas. Like I said, my boy H been looking stuff like this for years. Nice places in Texas, Virginia, and stuff. Nice places and nice crib. Even in Georgia and some places in Atlanta, trust me. So not only that, right? So you hear women say that, but this is the thing you don't think about. So if say a woman is making like 120,000 and her dude or husband is making like 80 grand, right? They saying that's not enough. Somebody who's making 80 grand most likely down there got, if not perfect credit. Like I know people that's making like 40, $50,000 that got 800 credit scores. So if a dude is making 80,000 a year, he's gonna have good credit. So that's gonna help y'all get a nice crib, nice car. Don't forget on these trips they have travel agents. They got deals and packages for you to spend money on a nice trip. Now, me and my partner HD, we're not necessarily worried about expensive clothes and Louis, and we don't care about that because that ain't our culture. That don't support our culture. So we don't really care or give a doggone about Louis and all that and Birkin bag. We don't care about stuff like that. Any woman we deal with, if she care about that, she can kick rocks. We don't care about that stuff because it's not black owned and created in the first place. So we don't care about that stuff, right? But of course, you still gonna be able to dress nice. You still gonna, go eat out the nice places and stuff. But if you got you a woman that know how to cook, you know how to cook, y'all cook together, have fun as a couple for real, for real. Y'all stay in the house most of the time, cooking with each other, enjoying each other's company anyway, especially with the pandemic going on. So you need to know how to cook anyway. But that's something that women have to think about. You want all these things, but why? Me and my partner, God bless us to be getting the bank bumper bag. We want the bank. We're trying to take care and help provide opportunities in our community. That's what we would, if we wanted money, like when we did like comment, like you said, more than millions, I want to save children. That's what we own. We would rather put all of this into an organization to help the youth, to help young brothers and sisters trying to do something with their life. If they want to be able to go, get help with a scholarship to go to college or be able to get help with knowledge and information and business startup capital, stuff like that, getting their first house together, being able to have youth programs where they can learn how to make jewelry, learn about as young teens how to be able to do real estate. That's what we want to put money into. That's where you really leave a legacy. So I want women to really think about that. Do you want all that money just so you can enjoy the lifestyle? What about your legacy? What about your kids? What about your community? What about your family members? Why are you so worried about materialistic things that vanish? Those things are not forever. You can't take those things with you, but you can leave a legacy before you go. So women need to think about that. That's always been my thing, G. I always asked a woman I was dating, what is it you trying to do with your life? And I go off of that. Do like, some women just wanted to work. That's it. They just want to be. And I ain't mad at them. But my thing, we talk about all the time, is helping my community, helping my people. So I look for things like that when I talk to women. And for real, what women get mad at when guys say that, if a woman carries herself a certain way, talks a certain way, acts a certain way, the only thing you may be worth is one night of fun. And women don't like to hear that. But to me, the finer a woman is, the badder she is, I don't take her serious. Like they say, she's a trophy fish. Like Patrice O'Neal said, guys, so you catch the fish, you show your friends, what you think about that? All right, you show your friends, and then you throw it back in the water. That's what women got to realize. Are you a trophy fish, something that gets thrown back in the water, or are you the fish that the man's gonna take home the eat off and feed his family? That's what women got to really think about. You know what I'm saying? That's why we need to channel Red Pill respectfully. We're going to keep knowledge and game for women to think about it. Our dudes, dudes going to get it all real. So all we're going to be doing is just giving motivational speech for them to stay on the same path and being the best them. But it's just for women to really think about it. Do you really think about these things that really make sense? What do you need all this money for? What's wrong with 50-50 and y'all actually being partners and being together? And what is wrong Where if you make 120,000 and he making 70, $80,000, that is not. A lot of people will not make that in life. That's what people don't realize. $80,000 is still in the 25 percentile of men. Period. 25%. So if you talking about somebody being in the 10%, which is 100K a year, you're still in the 15, 25% percentile. If you make 80,000, you right there by 100,000. He may not want to go through that. He may not want to become a supervisor at his job. He may not want to become a CEO or vice president because of the stress that comes with it. Just to say he makes that money, everybody don't want to do that. Everybody don't want to stay at their job. Everybody don't want to take extra risks to be something or do something in life. That's not them, because we got to realize it's not for everybody. Everybody's not meant to be a doctor or a lawyer. Let's be for real. Would you let somebody come up to you and say, I'm a doctor, and they catching the bus? Would you let them practice surgery on you? Or a lawyer? You at a fish market, yeah, you look like you might need a lawyer. Go ahead and holler at me. And they got their office in the back of a fish market. Everybody's not meant to be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever that makes all that money, or athlete. Everybody's not meant to be that. I've seen hoop dreams deferred. I've seen people not be able to stay out there on that field. Not some people. Most people that play football or basketball, the furthest they're gonna go is college if they even make it in. Some people don't make it past high school. That's just like when the one chick I know used to like the city girls, but I can't stand them heifers. When that chick JT was talking about, I'm sorry, for all the chicks who was trying to put into it to Igga and he didn't make it. You need to kick her to the curb. You was up there buying him Jordans and necklaces. You need to take that stuff back. First of all, you wasn't doing none of that stuff. Let's keep it funky. You weren't doing that. That shows you how dumb people are. Because I know somebody right now. I ain't gonna put too much out there, but I know somebody right now. They didn't go right into professional sports. They went into the minor leagues. But you still can make good money. People that go overseas and play sports still make good money. So this young dummy who's like 24 years old, 25, don't know nothing, making all this money and don't know nothing. Young lady.
And also for that young lady, not gonna call out her name. Think about this as well. For her telling them to get rid of that player because he didn't make it to the NFL or the
Right,
NBA, he still has two things. He has a degree and he has connections. He may
right.
not didn't make it to the NFL, but he could get a job working in the front office for an NFL team. Those people make 200, 300, 400,000, and
Or
he could take
analyst.
that analyst, or he could take that front office job where he's making 300,000 and turn that into something. He could become a head coach one day, and we know head coaches make millions. Or he can become one of the top consultants for that franchise, because these NFL and NBA franchises are worth billions of dollars, and you become a top consultant, they're going to be paying you over 500,000, getting up to the millions for that. So just because he didn't make it to the league, he still has two things that can get him to the millions, which is, like I said, he has a college degree. We know that where that can take you, and he also has connections. So for her saying to dump that man because he didn't make it to the league, you still missing out on your lottery ticket, because that man still gonna make money because he got that degree and he got connections. And also what he can do once he is working for one of those NFL, or even if he works for a college team, he can take that 200,000 that he's making, put it into the stock market. He can put it into commercial real estate, which would not only have him making that 200 or 300,000 for that team he works for, but then he get money on the side, and then that side money, adding with that 200,000, can make him a millionaire. So that just shows you how stupid, ignorant, and short-minded some of these women are. They don't have the brains that they think they have.
Yeah, and then all of those opportunities across minor league and playing cross seas. Like, because you still, like with the minor leagues, you can still get into the minor leagues and make your way into the majors. So it's still all kinds of different avenues that you can take. But the sad thing is,
They
you end up
think just
thinking like a
because you're not
team.
on the field, they think just because you're not on the field or you're not on the court that you can't make millions. and that is very dumb
That's
and
the
ignorant because
problematic.
that's all they know is, oh, if he ain't out there shooting the ball, if he ain't the quarterback, then he ain't making money. But little do they know, like I said, you know how many different men and women it takes to run an organization, to run an NBA team, to run an NFL team. There are so many people that that owner has to employ to make that team work. And those people that he employs make hundreds of thousands to millions per year to help keep that franchise running because the players are on the field and on the court, but it's a lot of behind the scenes jobs and positions that need to go and need to function to make sure that they can get out on that field on Sunday or they can shoot that hoop on a Tuesday night. So they're thinking just because the person's not on TV that they're not making millions when there's a consultant. Some of these consultants for these teams make 2-3 million a year. So that NBA player is out there on the court, but that consultant is also driving a Bentley because he's making $2-3 million as a consultant.
Mm. And I'm gonna say this before we end it. Y'all ain't gonna like this one. So if you got a young woman, black woman, telling sisters that, can you get mad if he get on and go get him a white girl? Mm. For all the brothers that say that, the sisters didn't want me. They dumped me when I was trying to get on. I didn't make it, but I ended up being a sports analyst, and now I made $2-3 million a year. Every time I try to talk to a sister, it just brings back the memories of pain. But I meet these other women from other ethnicities,
Caucasian persuasion.
or Asian, Brazilian, whatever. I mean, like these are the things that sisters got to really think about. We talk about women's attitude right now. We're talking about the mindset when it comes to finances. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, we're gonna do a show on this. But the number one thing that divorces happen is not because of cheating; it's because of finances. So what does that tell y'all, ladies? You can't bet the house just on money. It's about a person. You can't get with somebody and then everything else they got, and then you thinking, oh well, they need to be a good person. No, you should have been worried about that before you was worrying about what was in their wallet, like Capital One commercials. That's what you should have been worried about. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end it on that note. Just wanted to give y'all something to go ahead, have something to listen to as we make more content for y'all. Make sure y'all keep checking out the other content. I guess Derek Jackson is through. This Me Too movement is going on right now. And I'm starting to see a lot of women coming out being upset about it and talking on shows from the UK to Canada. Tasha K did a thing, boy. Y'all better not mess with her, boy. Leave her alone, boy. She's sipping on her wine and trying to get that behind.
And
So make sure you.
stop falling for these men that got these dry ass lines and all this
Mm,
stuff. I'm separated. My wife don't want me. She gone right now. It's gonna be me and you, girl, as soon as I get my divorce paper signed in 3 years. Stop listening to all these dry lines because at the end of the day, just like with this Derek Jackson dude, yes, homeboy is wrong. Homeboy is a big liar and a manipulator, but guess what? Those women went along with it. So they need to be held accountable too. You
and they
shouldn't
not
be
even.
messing with a so-called quote unquote separated man. Be like, you
Thank
know what, homeboy? Check me out when you get them divorce papers. Yeah, you separated or whatever, whatever, but you could go back to your wife. Y'all could mend things. Y'all could make it work out. So holler at me in a couple
you.
months once you
And
put
even
that
if
paper to the pen.
they hollering that,
Excuse me,
you
pen
can
to the
get
paper, excuse me.
you can get legal documents to prove that you're separate. At least ask for the legal documents.
There you
A
go.
lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know about that. When somebody said
There
they
you go.
separated, ask for those documents to show
There you
that
go.
y'all in proceedings of a divorce. Y'all are actually legally separate, and y'all not legally binded at the most right now. That is gonna hurt you. So you have the paperwork for that. But a lot of women don't think about that. So this is an old age thing. Whether you want to accept it or not, you're a home you're a home record. So stop falling for the game. If man saying that,
You're a
it's up to
home
you to
wrecker.
believe it. But
You
if
a
he go back,
Jezebel.
But if he go back to his woman, there's no need for you to blow up his spot. Blow up his spot if he try to holler at you and you know he married.
Right.
Then blow up his spot. But don't blow up his spot and you've been messing with him and then you mad because he gonna go back to his wife. Everybody know that. This is back in the dark ages, women knew this. This is not new information.
Right.
Me and my partner, we pushing 50. And we been hearing about this.
Dang! You ain't gotta put us out there like that, God. Dang. Man.
I'm just
Oh
kidding, y'all.
man.
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We ain't pushing no 50. We got where we want to see it and beyond, though. But we've been hearing this since we was young dudes. We've been hearing this as kids. We always heard, we always seen somebody around, and she messing with a married man. We've been seeing this years
Saying that
ago.
since we was little kids.
You feel me? So women, y'all can't keep falling for it. But we're gonna go ahead, nightcap the show right here on this. We're gonna keep bringing y'all content. Don't worry, we gonna always have more stuff. We got plenty of stuff to talk about on these subjects. Believe that. So this your boy JTL. Say goodbye to the people, HD.
It's your man HD. I'm out here.
All right, we'll be back. Make sure you subscribe, man. Don't forget, always subscribe. Peace.